Samruddhi, great. After a long time.
Yes.
Prakash ji,
Yes, sir.
namaste. Beautiful, great. We are from West Coast to East Coast.
Great. After a long time.
Yes, yes. And it is a good occasion to meet World Water Day.
Absolutely, sir. Yes.
Right, right, great. I hope everyone is doing well.
Fine, sir. Fine.
Fine,
Yeah.
sir. Thank you.
All good.
So let me just introduce each other and then Durga will take over. So Satya Prakash ji, Samruddhi is working in the Bharati Vidyapit in Pune, and she is the one who I call it as a water woman.
Oh,
No, no, no.
She has published a water guideline for university campus.
oh, okay.
And helped us a lot in promoting water conservation in the campus.
Oh,
And
great.
Birajdar is from MIT ADT, and he is leading the sustainability division and the section in near Pune.
Yeah.
And let me introduce Satya Prakash. He is from GIET, that is Bhubaneswar. So you can imagine there is a tremendous enthusiasm from the west coast of India to the east coast of India. So we are covering the whole peninsula very well. So having introduced that, Durga, floor is yours. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Shinde. Before going ahead, I welcome all the participant speakers in this interactive session on World Water Day, where the theme is leveraging water for peace. And with this interaction, we have named it as Water is a Peacemaker. Going ahead, today while I was preparing for this workshop, I asked Gemini, tell me what is everything about the water. It's a Google AI. And she gave me a very big list of statistics and facts, which I won't go in detail. But something that grabbed my attention was one sentence which was written as water is a renewable resource, but it is not an infinite resource. And I guess we all are making mistake of not understanding it and reading it very incompletely. We are thinking that it's a renewable resource, so let's use it in a selfish way or not giving much attention to its conservation. But we are forgetting that if it is not an infinite resource. And I guess there are strategies of how water can be conserved. But our today's session is about the youth and the universities because they are at the forefront. And if it is started at the university level, it reaches to a larger crowd, that is to the community, to the industry, and to the corporates. Going ahead with a small example, what has been followed at my place, at my home by my parents is whatever the water is used for washing the clothes, they reuse it for washing the terrace. And further, I have seen my dad collecting the rainwater in small buckets, which is then further used for cleaning the floor of my house. So these are small steps that my parents take. And while I watch them doing this, it also inspires me to continue this in my everyday lifestyle. And that is what we want to preach through this initiative, Smart Campus Cloud Network, that there should be a behavior change, there should be a lifestyle change into the universities, and not just for putting such activities on a day like World Water Day, but to keep it ongoing continuously every day into our daily course of life. And universities are the best example. So today, that is the reason we have arranged this interactive session, so that universities can showcase their best practices, what they are doing year round in their campus on a continuous basis, and obviously to inspire the other universities through this network. So I would like to invite, or I would like to call upon Dr. Rajendra Shinde. He is founder, director of TERRE Foundation, and also former director, UNEP. He is also coordinating lead author of IPCC report 2007, which won a Nobel Peace Prize, and he's IIT Bombay alumnus. So, floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Durga, for that very inspiring introduction, because you gave the example of your own family, and that sets the whole our today's event in perspective. We are not here to give great speeches, because I know everyone who is listening to the various speeches for election, they are fed up. And I don't think anybody wants any promise for the free water for 6 months, something like that. Nobody wants that. I think the change has to make from ourselves, be the change. That's what Mahatma Gandhi has said. And this is applicable to not only individuals, but it is also applicable to the universities. If universities are telling conserve the water, they themselves should start conserving the water. And I think that exactly is the aim of this particular event. So I know that we are not going to hear the great speeches, the importance of water, and how much water scarcity is going to be there in next 20 years, 30 years. What we are going to do is just listen to some of the speakers like Satyaprakash, Professor Samruddhi, Birajdar, that how they are practicing the water management in their own campus, full stop. And that itself is a lesson for us. So each one of them, Satyaprakash ji, Samruddhi ji, and Birajdar ji, you are in fact conducting a class during your presentation to tell the students who are listening, all those who are listening to this seminar are the students, or they are your students. And you are telling them, this has been done. So what prevents you from doing it? So that's what we have to learn from. World Water Day has been initiated since 1993. So it's quite a long period that we are talking about it. And hardly anything has happened to ease the situation about the water stress. We are nearly 20 years have passed, more than 40 years, 30 years have passed, and we are not seeing much of the results on water management. And that's why we have to put the universities in the front line, because universities are the ones who mold the minds of the young people. They are the one who can accelerate the actions, and they are the one where the innovations can get incubated. And that's why we rely on them. And today we will be hearing from these three speakers what is called as what could be the innovations that we can take clues from. Let me also state why we are talking about water as a peacemaker. Water does create conflicts, as we know very well, even in India. There is a conflict between the states of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, between Maharashtra and Karnataka. And there are a number of cases. In fact, all over the world, there are 154 countries who share the water due to the lakes and the rivers which are shared between the two countries. We know the borders of the countries mainly because of the wars that have taken place. But I think we should start learning about the countries who share the water, which could be the cause of the war. And out of those 154 countries who share the rivers and the lakes, only about 24 of them have any official agreements not to fight over the water, but share it constructively and manage it well. That means more than 130 countries today stand for fighting for the water because they share it. And hence, if there is a good agreement, if there is a good cooperation, then the water can be a peacemaker. And let's not go into the big countries. I'm sure the cities share the water. and the regions share the water. And that sharing of the water, managing it well, probably it will give us a peace. And that's why it is today, this year's theme is water and peace. As you know, Sustainable Development Goals, their ultimate objective is to have the peace in the world. But it clearly lays down about 15 to 16 clear-cut cases which will contribute to making the peace. It's about the health, it's about the education, it is about the climate, it is about the energy, and it is about the water. It is about the forest. And all these natural resources we share, they are our heritage, but we share them. And unless we manage it well, we will not be able to keep the peace. Is presently have done their share to manage their water, and hence they have done their share to make the peace. And I stop here to say that we are
So your voice is breaking.
working with more than 500 universities in our world. And I know each one of them has something there. There yet, but the positive, very happy. Yes, I'm back again. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So I finished it. So Durga, back to you.
Yes, sorry. Your last part, it was not audible and we couldn't hear it properly. But still, I would go ahead and what I would like to conclude it is partnership for peace is very important, and it can be done starting at the universities. And by networking in the universities, this partnership can be leveraged, and it can have benefits to not just limiting to the campus, but also it can go to the community. So I would like to next call upon Miss Samruddhi Patwardhan. She has done her master's in geography from Jabalpur University, and she is master's in urban planning from CEPT University in Ahmedabad. She is currently working as a program officer at Bharati Vidyapeeth Institute of Environment Education and Research, Pune. She teaches urban environment related courses, and she has a teaching experience of 10 years. And she's also a member of Geography Study Group in Textbook Bureau of Maharashtra. Yes, ma'am, you can go ahead.
Thank you, Durga, for that generous introduction. Just let me know if you can see my screen. Yeah. Is it visible to everyone?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, thank you. Right, so really at the outset, I would like to thank Dr. Shende sir and Durga for this invitation and to share here what I think I can share here with the audience, and of course the university people from other universities will be joining. I wouldn't actually share best practices, but what I would share is, I think, more important than having a good practice, because it's about students, it's about preparing students, and it's about empowering the students. So here with the framework that we have, I would really like to start my presentation, and I would talk about how higher education institutes, can empower the students, and why it is important to empower the students and the higher education institutes for water conservation. And of course, the theme for this year is Water for Peace. And so, as you have already spoken, Shende sir, the Sustainable Development Goals have really laid a very good foundation for all kinds of sustainable development activities that we can undertake. And we have the Clean Water and Sanitation, SDG 6, which is really directly related to water conservation. But it also gives us a very powerful SDG goal 4, which is about quality education. And herein comes in picture the higher education institutes in our country. So we have really been, this water issues are not new to us. Just recently, we have been hearing about Bangalore, where schools, colleges have opted to stay offline because of the water crisis. So what can we actually do to solve this crisis in the framework of our country, within our country? And do we really have to solve the problem, or do we really have to make the students aware of the problem? So is it the institutions who should take action, or is it the students who should really understand? Because students are the future of this country. And as we say, as we are going for net zero for 2070, or if we have the nationally determined contributions of reducing our carbon dioxide emissions. So I think by that time, it would really be our students who would be in the peak of their careers. So I think it's more important to empower the students, to create knowledge, to instill those competencies in them, which would really help them to tackle issues like water, and of course, peace, as this year's theme is. So I think that is important. And herein comes my next slide, which says why education. So why education is because education is the key to all problems, as it is said. Education trains the mind. Education brings a lot of change in our way of thought, and our higher education institutes must really check on themselves as to, are we imparting education just for the sake of knowledge, or are we really creating good citizens in the country? So in SDG 4.7 out of all the sustainable development goals is really the key to all the goals. And it says that by 2030, we must ensure that all learners acquire knowledge and skills. So, it really talks about the skills, developing the skills that the students need to live in a sustainable planet, or to develop a sustainable planet in the future. So it talks about promotion of culture of peace. And of course, it talks about appreciation of cultural diversity. And I would say water is really an indicator of cultural diversity, especially in a country like India. So with this background, also what comes is our national education policy, and of course the SDG 4.7, as I've already talked. Both of them emphasize the development of competencies and skills. So through water conservation efforts that the universities are taking, and today we'll be seeing at some of these best practices, our emphasis should not just be water conservation. It should really be the development of competencies of our students for a better future. So this is just going to be the medium through which we are going to train our students to develop skills and competencies in them to solve problems. To have focus on what I really want to say is that ESD competencies are clustered around 3 essential characteristics, as you can see. So it talks about a holistic approach. So as I said, it's not just about giving education. So an engineering education, or an education in arts, or an education in science is not just about an education in that stream. Any education should always have the target of a whole approach which connects the student with the society, connects the student with the environment, connects the student with the problems that are there in the society. It also shows the means to envisioning the change. The students should be able to see the change, be the change, as we've been saying, and of course then achieve transformation. So these are the 3 essential characteristics of the competencies. And to go into details, I would like to tell you what competencies have been mentioned in SDG 4.7. Of all of these competencies, I think the most important for water conservation practices would be integrated problem solving competencies and critical thinking and anticipatory competency, to be very specific. Of course, all the competencies are very good enough, but still anticipatory competency prepares the students. It makes the students think that yes, there could be a future problem, there could be a water crisis. So this kind of approach is developed in the students when we try to bring in anticipatory competency pedagogies related to this competency. Normative competency is about the norms. When we think of what are the norms of the society? How does a society work? Can we go according to the norms of the society? Do we have some rules and laws to be followed? Critical thinking talks about questioning. It questions: are the efforts enough? Is the society, whatever the society is doing for water conservation, is it enough? Do we need to do something more? Systems thinking competency develops in a student the competency to think it as a part of a larger picture, a whole picture. So the student is able to think about how a system is, how things are related within a system, how an organization works. So this kind of competencies that the Education for Sustainable Development, or SDG 4.7, talks about is more important to understand when we are carrying out any water conservation practice in the higher education institutions. So basically, the higher education institutes should develop pedagogies, or should talk about developing these competencies and skills in the students and through their water conservation efforts, because this is for a longer term future, longer term thinking, as we say. So what can higher education institutes actually do to inculcate these competencies through water conservation efforts, as many of the universities are really trying to bring in water issues. So we already have, water issues in our curriculum. We already have lots of activities. We conduct activities which create awareness in the students. But is that enough? Is that what we really do, or do we really need to do something more than that? So I would really like to know, or ask the universities that really do the students know how much water they have? That is the first step, I think, that is important. So how many students know from where does my water in the tap come from? Do the students know what is the source of water in their campus? Do they know how much of the water is coming from surface water? How much is it coming from groundwater? Are they aware? Are they aware of the water footprints that these students have within the campus? So these are so water conservation efforts, I think, should be more targeted towards knowing how much water does a student use, or from where does the water come? What is the dependency on water? I remember when we have water crisis in our cities, when it's the time for monsoons to come, and when we are eagerly waiting for the monsoons, every day we have one news in the paper which tells us, oh, the dam capacity is now only 10%, or only 20%, or only 20 days water is left. So when we have these kinds of news, it makes an impact on us. So why can't such notices, or such information or pieces can be given to students, which can tell them how much water they have? So this kind of awareness needs to be created in the students. This is the first step, I would say, to make them aware of the situation, and to make them develop these competencies in them. Second would be, I would say, to empower the students to save water. So the water conservation efforts should come from the students themselves. So when the first step is done, the second step comes from them, because now they know what they have to do to save water. When they know that water is scarce, there will be some effort from them to save the water. So instead of having a top to down approach for water conservation, a bottom to top approach would be more meaningful, would be more sustainable in that case. So this is, I think, what can be done. And third step would be to look beyond the obvious. Like, water savings can really come from very unexpected places. Generally in India, we have waters from surface, from rivers or dams, from lakes and reservoirs, or from groundwater. But can we think of some other source of water? Can the students, think if really the water can come only from these sources, or it can only be bottled or mineral water? Can it come from some other sources? Can we have other examples of sources, which can be used? Can we recycle the water? Can we have rainwater harvesting? Just to name a few. There can of course be many other unexpected places as such. So this kind of brainstorming can be done with the students, and they can really think of out of the box ideas, and water savings can really come in this way, and they can save water. So one is that we talk about the source of water, one is about the water consumption, and third is about future sourcing or mobilizing of water resources. So these kinds of steps can be taken by higher education institutes, besides of course the best water practices that they would like to display. Talking about pedagogies to develop curriculum, I would say that a practical pedagogy is really important in this regard when it comes to developing competencies in the students. So there is a pedagogy called the action learning. So involving the students in water conservation efforts would really be a good step. And as I earlier said, that instead of being a top to bottom approach, if it's a bottom to top approach coming from the students, involvement of the students as much as possible in carrying out the water conservation efforts, I think that would really be a good step, and it would really bring them out from the classroom to give them a hang of the real thing, or whether it is happening there. The water scarcity can be felt because they spend a lot of time at the institute. So there are 5 T's of action learning, which suggest that we feel. So when you give them the idea of how much water is there in the campus, what are our sources of water, where do we get water from, this kind of gives them the thinking approach. It helps them to think. So they think, they experience, they feel what is happening. They experience that yes, there is water scarcity that is there in our institute. Then this is the touch, that is the T, 5 T's of action learning. Then comes the tuning. So there they start watching, they start experiencing, they talk to their teachers, teachers talk to them, they discuss within themselves, and there we get the thinking and the talking, and then together we take an action. So this kind of pedagogy of active learning can really help students understand the problem, and it would really be a sustainable kind of understanding, which would not just be limited to one case study of water conservation, as we have to really think for a longer term and not just for 1 or 2 years. So with this, I think I would really like to stop now. This is what I have to say. So if anyone has any questions, you're please open to ask.
Thank you, Samruddhi madam. You have put it in a perspective that students should be not made just knowledgeable, but the skill should be developed so that they take the action. And that is the role of education, which can trigger the other SDGs, action on other SDGs, specifically for water as well. Going ahead, I would like to call upon Professor Satya Prasad sir. Satya Prasad sir is the head of the Department of Electrical Electronics Engineering. He is also director of R&D at Institute of Engineering and Technology. He is founder and CEO of Surya Bala Energy Solution Private Limited, and he is a certified energy manager and energy auditor from Bureau of Energy Efficiency. And as we know, energy is also linked to water. So he would be telling us about how the best practices are done on the campus of GIE University.
Yeah, thank you, madam. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The screen is visible, madam?
Yes.
Yeah. So, once again, thank you for TERRE Foundation. So, my topic is water conservation in GIT campus, a case study. So, before going to the topic, just I will interrelate, the population growth. We are now, right now, almost 7.9 billion at present. The growth is like this. 1 to 2 billion, it took 123 years. 2 to 3 billion, it took 33 years. 3 to 4 billion, 14 years. 4 to 5 billion, 13 years. 5 to 6 billion, 11 years. 6 to 7 billion, 9 years. So the population is increasing exponentially, but the same rate, the water as well. See here, my point is you cannot divide water and power. So both are interrelated. Without water, there is no power. Without power, there is no water. So we can interrelate the energy, water or power, whatever it may be. So that is why just it is a scenario from 1947 to right now, 31st March 2023. See, you can see here the percentage of growth of power is very limited. It is only below 5%. So when we can reach the population growth with our power, and obviously wherever you are, you have to generate the power. Even though it is solar, even though it is a water or even thermal power, you require water. So now you see, for example, 1,000 megawatt of power station. It requires investment, okay, 5,000 crores, but at the same time, coal, 12,000 tons per day, furnace oil 101 meter cubics per day, and you see here water 98,000 meter cubics per day. Then CO2 and all, okay, these are all uh, greenhouse gas emissions. Then the ash, but you see the cleaning process, the sanding process, the cleaning of the coal, many process you require water. So what is my question is here? If you have to save the water, you have to save the power. If you have to save the power, you have to save the water. And one more thing, this type of power stations, again 80 megawatts, even though it is generating actually 1000 megawatts, 80 megawatts it requires. Again, you see in thermal power station, we'll have the cooling tower, these are all again requires water only. So again, it will go back to 80 megawatts. So this is the scenario of the power generation related to water. Now you see here the percentage of fossil fuels and non-fossil fuels, these are all well-known facts. And again, you cannot completely go for renewable energy sources. It is not possible technically. You have to depend on again fossil fuels. It is a combination of fossil fuels and non-fossil fuels. It is very difficult because it is unreliable. These are renewable energy sources. So you require the combination. So there is always you have to depend on fossil fuels also. Of course, now coming to our, the emissions. See here, we can see the combination of all the energy production and what the way the pollution and all. So, but it is already I told it is a combination. So now coming to the low carbon lifestyles. So some of the practices, see in our campus, we are displaying all these flexes in frequent places, in hostels, in classrooms, in various places. See, because of shortage of time, I will show 2 to 3 analysis only. Then you can understand what the way, various ways. Already at the beginning, Durga Kamath, she told how her parents are doing the simple practices and how it will leads to the saving of water. See here also, technically if you will analyze, then everybody will knows what is the importance of such type of best practices. See here, switch to energy efficient devices. These are all well-known facts to anybody nowadays. See, incandescent bulb, light emitting diode. So if you will use, okay, you will save the water, but at the same time you have to understand there are various other factors also, the emission factors, annual carbon dioxide emission, electricity cost, then annual cost. See, the point is here, if you will replace 5 lamps in a home with energy efficient ones, see, reducing of annual CO2 emissions by 37 to 278 kg. and annual electricity bill 262 to 2,414 rupees with only 5 bulbs. Similarly, these are all emissions and all. And again, you can understand here, it is equivalent to, of course, here it is not given. And you see here, for example, CFL, LED lamps, T8 lamp, T5 tube light, saving for 5 tube light, So annual CO2 emission reduction of 30, and it is equivalent to, suppose you are living in a metro city and you are in an apartment. If you will save like this, it is equivalent to having 3 to 27 additional trees in the form of changing these best practices in terms of energy efficiency. Okay, this one case study I'm showing. Now you can understand like that. See here, one single star fan, 5-star fan. Again here, solar inverter with normal inverter, solar water heater with normal water heater. Then here, voltage stabilizers, and see cold cycle in washing machine. Then what will happen? And wash temperature if 60 degrees centigrade, 25 degrees centigrade. What will happen? See, these are all again student has to understand. Once the student will understand that technically what is happening and how it is contributing to the sustainable world and all, and definitely they will implement and they are going to practice. See here, dry your clothes in the sun. Then again, what will happen? Switch off all appliances at the plug point. Do not with a remote. So again, with that, how with if you are operate anyway, maybe you can understand. Switch off all appliances at the plug point and not with a remote. Turn off lights and fans when not in use. Okay. Do an hour of yoga instead of running on a treadmill. Technically, again, you have to analyze as a case study here. Conserve water, install water efficient showers, and use water carefully. So again, what will happen there? Again, change flush tanks in the bathrooms, harvest rainwater. See again, in every building, how much of water on rooftop you can harvest and how it can be integrated to your water cycle. That one also, of course, you are doing this in our campus. So be fuel efficient. Then like this, various other case studies. Because of shortage of time, I am skipping all this. See, useful. So how many case studies are there? So with all this, with whatever I am showing, see how many. So these are all, if you will calculate in a campus as a case study, and just to imagine how much change you can bring at least to your campus. So here again, conduct a water audit. So what is actually a water audit? How many people knows? Again, these are all other factors, technical factors. Then in what the way it can be implemented. See, manage waste, conserve like this, do not waste paper. Send them again in paper nowadays. It is coming stone paper. So stone paper, it don't require when it is manufacturing. No need of any trees cutting and all. The paper will be manufactured from stone and it is available in Amazon also. So like that, various materials are available. Reduce anyway. So now with all this, we are implementing a water analytics analysis in our campus. So with these approaches, and what we have to do: rainwater harvesting, wastewater recycling, water quality, predictive analysis. Predictive analysis also we are doing power consumption. These are all with this, the latest approach of AI and ML approaches. So initiatives towards net zero carbon campus, how we are implementing as a smart sustainable campus. So it is under process. We have to develop. I have took from some Google. So it is an image only. So our intention is finally to make like this. So some of the practices are going on now in our campus. And finally, a dashboard we have to create. Almost 20 to 30% work we have completed with IoT based monitoring system. See, right now it is now in our campus. It is a wastewater treatment plant in J8 University campus. The capacity is 200 kiloliters per day. So power consumption, how much it is in a year, how much. So what is the running cost? What is the benefit you are getting? So from all the hostels, the wastewater will be all, these washrooms, toilets, and everything. The water will come to these tanks and it will be recycled and it will be circulated to all our lands, our campus. And again, some of the students, they came with some out of think box, some innovative approaches. And we are trying for this one also phytoremediation process. So what is this phytoremediation process? Is maybe many of you know that it is a natural process without using any electricity. The plant itself will filter the water with two types of ponds, and which this is you took from one of the building which is available in Hyderabad. So this is called as phytoremediation process, and we are going to implement this one. So the various plants what you have to use here. Then see, these are the plants. See, it is already, I took the photo from that CAA Sorabji Godrej Green Business Center, and you are in the process to implement this. And gradually, without using, see, there the consumption is per unit to purify 1 liter. Now it is around 1 rupee 30 paise, which I have shown earlier. Now it is only 30 paise only. So this is the process which from that building.
So I have sent you questions, Anjali.
Yeah. So net zero approach. See, these are all again the limited time. So within 10 minutes only, you have to tell no. So you are like this. You are analyzing. See, now this is also the approach which you are following. So, for example, what is our approach is we are implementing all these various approaches, the energy efficient devices, modern appliances, and we are see a house, if it is they are getting the electricity bill of 450 rupees, we can make it as even zero also with very less payback period. So what the appliances which you are using and how much investment they have to make and all various case studies you are doing. Even further, this is the latest one. So various case studies you are doing. It is directly some of the areas it is through water, some of the areas through energy and all. Already I told it is interrelated. So finally, even you are giving the solution for commercial buildings also. So it is already under process. At some customer, if they need energy efficient building, some customer may need green building, or if they want to make a zero energy building. So these are all we are doing. So with all these practices, we have constructed a building in our campus. So whatever the experiments which you have to do, all experiments we are doing in this building, and we will implement commercially also. So that is now it is going on. So like this, we will analyze our campus bill, electricity bill. See here, once we will analyze like this, we will get the awareness. See what is the monthly average, what is the daily average, what is 1 hour average, what is 1 minute average. So even 1 minute also, how many units you are consuming. So by looking that, then immediately anybody will get the idea. So even 1 minute also, how many units you are consuming. Like this, various analysis in terms of water, in terms of energy, in terms of electricity bill, everything we are analyzing. And now this is also again you are we are creating like a dashboards for all of this also. And now by doing all this, we have gone for the 5 years back 120 kilowatts of solar plant, and this is the plant analytics which it is we will get every day how much power it is being generated. And similarly, this is the solar power generation. And now already our management has given the approval and our work already started. Again, you are going for 380 kilowatts of solar plant. Not only that, see, this is the next plan and already work started. And again, what you are doing, see the entire campus, see how many pumps you are using, how much water you are lifting, how many units you are utilizing. And for that one, what is the electricity bill you are getting? So you only water, the electricity bill what you are getting is 3,50,800 rupees per month. These are the pump sets. So now this is also made a DPR and we have submitted and the management approved. Now all these pumps of this we want to convert into solar again. Solar again off grid, not on grid. So what the way you are doing, the rating is like this, number of units per day. Now again you are using variable frequency drives. So automatically it will come to this. Then if you use solar, then it will come to the 550 units per day only. So for that one also we made like this. So this is now under process. Maybe within 6 months by implementing this, I can show the total implementation of this approach. So this is the payback period when we have submitted to the management, they have approved and we are doing it. So and this is also one type of one innovative idea for a house how we can maintain a net zero energy system. This is also we have applied for one MSME project and we got around 20 lakhs and it is under process. So this is maybe tomorrow it may be a commercialized setup for any individual house or apartment. So anyway, thank you for giving this opportunity. maybe I completed exactly within 12 minutes. I took extra 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for giving a detailed description of the activities on the campus. And it's very important that whatever is been consumed or whatever is needs to be measured is very important, because unless we measure, we cannot manage. And also SCC and TERRE Foundation, we have also developed a net zero tracker, which not only just calculates water related emissions, but also takes into consideration the other factors. And also you have put forth how the nature-based solutions can be implemented to achieve more sustainability and conserve water. Thank you very much. Now, moving from east, coming back to coming to the west, I would like to have MIT ADT University, Shiv Prasad sir, to talk about the case studies on MIT ADT University campus.
Yes. Just share my screen. First of all, thank you, ma'am, for arranging this seminar in such a short notice.
Yeah, and I would like to thank all the speakers, because you all also joined at a very short notice. So thanks a lot.
I'll just start with a campus tour video.
Your screen is not visible. Yeah.
Is it visible now?
Yes. There is no sound.
Is there any background sound?
There has to be a background sound. I guess the screen is shared without sharing the sound.
This was the introductory video for our campus, and I'll start with the presentation. Is the screen visible now?
Yes.
Yes.
So basically, this is about what practices we are currently conducting on-field operations for tracking, measurement, and also increasing the efficiency of the water. So MIT ADT is basically working on these 5 aspects: energy, air, water management, waste management, and biodiversity also. As it is World Water Day, let's just speak about water right now. Basically, when we started this decision to work on water management, what we were facing challenges were from the start, how much population shall we consider in the university, number of students that were present in the university, and also residential population and non-residential populations. Then educational buildings, hostels. From that, we actually calculated the water requirement for the university. So the highest standard for the calculation is 135 liter per capita per day for a single student in the hostel. And for academic building, it is 45 liters per capita per day. I haven't mentioned any calculations, but from these units, as you can, from these units, the total water requirement for the university came out to be 12 lakh liter per day. So it was a big challenge for us now to track the water that is coming into the university, and also to optimize if there are any wastages or leakages. What we did was there are 10 sources for water which the university uses. 7 are bore wells and 3 are open wells. But at the start there was challenge that couple of open wells were not in operation. Then we started with installing meters at all the sources and tracking the water that is being taken into the university. Then the total, as we kept on tracking the water consumption, the total water that amounted, that was shown on the meters as per the readings, it shown that we were actually extracting, or we were actually using more than 12 lakh liters per day, which was around 13 lakhs or 13.5 lakhs. It varied, depending upon the holiday and academic schedule of the students. Then what we did to lower down the consumption was we took an awareness programs with between for the students also, and we started with the maintenance team. We made them aware that this much is our calculation, this much water we will require, and this much water we are currently using. So we took awareness programs for the housekeeping staff, for maintenance team. They used to report any kind of leakages, any water wastage that came to their notice. And we are still in the process to reduce the wastage of the water. Technically, we will only require 12 lakh liters per day. That will be sufficient requirement, but we are still in the process to reduce the total water consumption. So even as couple of open wells, they were not in operation. So what we did was we brought them into operations, and as earlier, some of the requirement in summer season, peak summer season, some of the requirement of water was satisfied through or fulfilled through water tankers also. But we cleaned these open wells, and now we have started using water from these open wells as well, which uh, helped us to reduce the number of water tankers, which has eventually come down to zero, even in this scorching heat. Then next was the used water. So the used water is also treated in the sewage treatment plant, and it is used for flushing in the hostels. And the excess water which has been treated through this is uh, again used for gardening around the campus itself. Then coming after uses of the water, what about the recharge? So there are also provisions. We have couple of bore wells which we have connected with the waters. Borewell recharge we uh, carry out, and also there are provisions in every building that the water can come down to the ground, and there are pits made so that the rainwater harvesting process is taken care of. So not only we use the water from the ground, but we also try and give back to the environment, and we are on our course to make our campus a water positive one. The total potential for rainwater harvesting, as we have studied, the total potential that one rain season can give us based on the 20 buildings, it is around 12 lakh liters. And we are in the process to maximize the potential that rainwater harvesting can get us, and how we can give it back to the environment. That was a short presentation from my side based on purely water and what we are doing in the campus. Yes, Durga.
Thank you. Thank you, Shiv Prasad, sir. for giving us a background about water conservation on the MIT ADT campus. Also, I would like to point out that MIT ADT is one of the campus who have signed who have given the consent for U75 net zero movement. And at the same time, they have started with the baseline survey. So soon they would get to know what is their carbon footprint of their campus, and soon they would come up with their net zero target. So that is about the MIT ADT University. And to give a background about Smart Campus Cloud Network, and like Dr. Shende mentioned, where Samruddhi Madam had also helped us as an expert on developing a water guidelines, which I'll show it in a minute. Yes, so these are some of, this is the guideline that we have about SCCN water guidelines, which is obviously developed by the interns who were working with the Smart Campus Cloud Network under the guidance of Dr. Shende and Samruddhi Madam. So this guidelines, you can find all sort of actions that is needed on the university campus. And since it is done by the youth, by the students, so it is easy to understand. It is like a user-friendly guidelines. So that is about SCCN. We do have certain questions on our YouTube. One is from Prasad Dandekar. He is asking, how can universities play a role in prevention of water pollution in their respective cities?
Is it prevention of pollution?
It is role of universities for prevention of water pollution in the respective cities. Yes.
Okay. So I'll just take up this. If anyone else has something to add, of course, they can do that. So one is, of course, prevention of water pollution. It means that you create awareness in your students. You take research projects which, help in water prevention. They're very obvious, but there is something which is really increasing everywhere in the world, I would say. And it's also related to SDG 17, which talks about partnerships, and that is citizen science. We have various tools which have been developed for citizen science, where citizens can really get involved, and these are all projects run by universities. So there is an app called MiniSAS, MINISAAS. There's an app which anyone can download, and with a little training, you can monitor the water pollution that is there in your city, and it uses very basic indicators, bio indicators, because for pollution you need to take tests, whether the water is having the basic BO, DO, dissolved oxygen and all, but this is just based on some visual aspects and some bio indicators, presence of some microorganisms and something in the water. So this can really help the citizens create awareness regarding water pollution, and it can really help. So as I told you, it depends on developing the competencies, and it also depends on creating awareness. So if I know that as a student or as a citizen, I know that this is going to be coming, this is what is anticipated, this is going to come in the future, that my cities or my rivers in the city or my water in the city is going to be polluted. So what do I do, to prevent this situation? So monitoring of water is being done through various apps, through research projects developed by universities for prevention of water pollution. And one of the examples I've already given is MiniSAS. So there are even many more efforts being taken all around the world. If anyone else has to add, please do so.
So you are on mute. Dr. Shende, you're on mute.
I would like to add, the question was what the universities can do to avoid water pollution.
Right.
Of course, Samruddhi Madam has put the whole thing in a perspective. What is the first thing which needs to be done is to find out what are the sources of pollution?
Mm.
I mean, just because water is going down the drain doesn't mean that it is a polluted water. I'm making that very bold statement. I mean, I worked in a chemical plants, being a chemical engineer myself. So I know that the chemical plants produce real toxic chemicals. They go down the water. But imagine the hostel. The hostel, once the students take bath and you use only the soap water, that's
Or-
not necessarily a polluted water. It's a water which probably contains the soap and some cleaning agents. So one has to think, can it be used for cleaning the tiles or the corridors or the staircases of the hostels? So there has to be some kind of an internal management of the polluted water, so-called polluted. Everything which comes out of drain is not polluted. And I think we have to live with it. That is number one. Number two is, yes, part of it coming out, for example, if there is a chemical laboratory, any water coming out of that chemical laboratory is extremely polluted, and that need to be analyzed. But otherwise, if any water is coming by washing the hands, the basins, from the canteen, I think there are some analysis need to be done to say what does it contain. Maybe some of the plants can tolerate it. I mean, it's my favorite way of telling that we add certain things in the water in order to drink it. Maybe electrol we add into it. Sometimes we add some spices in it, like elaichi, or we cardamom, and we drink it. Maybe some of the plants like the water coming out of canteen, which has some different food, maybe the plants like it. And I think those kind of innovative ways of looking at the polluted water need to be considered by the students and start the activities. I'm not saying that start doing that immediately. What is needed is start analyzing it and find out, define what is a polluted water. So that's what I wanted to say, because I remember when I was in IIT Bombay, and one of the students came out with the idea that why the hostel waters coming from the bathroom, I'm not talking about coming from commode, that is a separate issue, but what is coming out of bathroom, why that need to be connected to the main sewage at all? It should be connected where you can probably allow the water to be settled and use it in the lawns. So that kind of thing, innovation, because I think Samruddhi put it very well. She said that students represent innovation. Once the awareness is created, they can think about the problem in a different way. And I think this could be the different way of doing it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shinde. Thank you, Samruddhi madam. There's one more last question from one of our intern, and she has asked a very interesting one. Are there opportunities for collaboration between universities and water utilities to develop innovative solutions for water conservation and treatment?
Maybe Satya Prakash ji can,
Yeah.
knowing that he interacts with a lot of utilities.
Yeah. Can you repeat the question? Actually,
So are there any opportunities for collaboration between the universities and the water utilities to develop innovative solutions for water conservation and treatment?
yeah. For example, if any student, if he wants to associate with us, we are happy to associate with them, and even we are ready to pay the paid internship also up to 10,000 to 12,000. And we are having various case studies with us, and even the IoT based. Just now I told madam. So those are all available, and we got some funding also. So I am ready to offer at least 1 or 2 internships with paid internship with free accommodation.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So this is open things. Probably we can, Durga, you can advertise it on a TERRE Foundation's website.
Can put it in part of our newsletter, monthly
Right,
newsletter.
right. We can do that. One more thing before we ask the other speakers to talk about it is what is called as one of the things that all three of us, Bharati Vidyapit, GIET, and MIT ADT, can think about having a water hackathon, the new ideas about conserving the water. And not necessarily, we all know that conserving water is to close the tap while brushing the teeth. I think everybody knows that. I don't know how many of you follow it. But apart from that, we are not going ahead. Maybe another one is stop the leakages. That's it. What are the other ways of doing it? I mean, recently, I think Durga herself pointed out that the water coming out of the air conditioners, because of the condensation of the condenser in air conditioner, can have a substantive water. And the solar panels, which Satya Prakash ji was telling, in the morning, the dew that appears on those panels can be collected systematically to get a sizable amount of water. So these kind of innovations, I think, need to be brought forward through such kind of hackathon.
Sir, if you don't mind, just 1 minute only, one video I will show it to you. Recently, I got it from some WhatsApp message, and even we are ready to implement in our campus also. Just 1 minute only.
Yeah, by the time Satya Prakash ji says, probably we can do the experiments in Bharati Vidyapit and MIT ADT that start collecting the water coming out of the air conditioners and see how much per day we get it. And this could be done by the students straight away. It may be small amount, but you never know. Yeah, as you say, every drop makes the ocean. And probably in a month's time, we can have a sizable water to give it to some of the plants. So, and I think we can publish that study that water generated, I mean, that water comes from the air and not from any other source.
This is a very important message for people in Bengaluru and where a lot of water.
We are not able to hear you.
Water can be collected, and this is a very unique way of collecting the AC water in a very smart, beautiful, and controlled manner where you can store 100 liters of AC water in a pipe. There's an overflow, and there's a tap. You can use it in many ways, especially mopping, car wash, flushing, and especially places like Bangalore where there's a water shortage. We have to use every drop of water and before we consume. We need to respect water. Every drop of water matters. And today it is the time for the nation to collect. And 5,000 of these are already installed across. We're looking forward to encourage in a pipe. There's an overflow, and with the heat.
Brilliant.
So in each pipe, sir, 100 liters of water they can store every day.
100 liters means 10 buckets.
Yeah.
So that is
and they are
equivalent
using
to,
for mopping gardens, even for bath, any purpose you can use it.
Very good.
100 liters, and they have installed 5,000 such type of systems in their total apartments.
I see. So in fact, we can, such kind of innovations will come out of water hackathon. And maybe one of the conclusions could be that each one of you can go back to the top management of your university and say that we want to have a water hackathon on particular day, and all three of us join. We can invite the other universities to join in, and three of you could be judged for the best innovations, and we can provide the prize. And
Yes.
Satya Prakash ji is very good in making and developing a project for getting a funding. So for that hackathon, we can get a funding straight away.
Yeah.
Right. Durga, back to you.
Yes, sir. So to conclude, I don't want to conclude it in a very rigid way, but would like to say a few sentences. One is, yes, there should be skilling of students for achieving not just water management or water conservation, but also all the natural resources should be conserved. So that is one. Second thing is we need to measure, like it was pointed out, unless the students are made aware what is the consumption of the water, they won't be able to take action. So awareness and making the data available to the students is major part, which also falls under skilling the youth. Third thing is having a nature-based solutions, which is very important because we cannot depend on treating the water and then again using resources for the water treatment. But whereas nature-based solution itself is a solution for conserving water in a sustainable way. And last but not least, having certain activities like water hackathon, which will drive the innovation among the students and the universities and would bring them together under one umbrella for the partnership. So that was about what we can conclude. But again, as I said, the 75% of our body contains water. So summer is on its way. So don't forget to keep yourself hydrated, at least with 2 liters of water. That would be my message on World Water Day. Thank you.
Yeah, to everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, bye.